and welcome to my stamp studio. My name is Beth Maxwell and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I'm going to bring you some alternatives to our Batter Up Paper Pumpkin Kit. On Friday nights, last Friday of every month, I have a Facebook Live called Paper Pumpkin Pajama Party. And in that, I actually make 3 of the cards that come with the kit. And then I go ahead and the group of us make some alternative cards. I got a lot of interactive feedback from the people joining the Facebook Live to come up with some really awesome cards. So I'm going to share one of them with you now. Before I do that, the contents of the kit are a great stamp set. I did at first find this challenging to use, but after I started playing with it, I really had a lot of fun and really started getting some really creative ideas. It comes with some baker's twine. It also comes with a Night of Navy Stampin' Spot. It comes with resin dots, red and bumblebee. It comes with mini glue dots, and you can see I've already used this because I've been working with the kit. And you get 3 pieces of double bubble. Do you remember this gum when you were a kid? And I can tell you what, it's still hard as a rock. The other pieces of the kit include these shapes, and it's just cardstock shapes that you punch out and use on your card. There are 3 different designs of card that come with the kit. I've used all of them except for this one. There are 9 envelopes with this awesome pattern, which I'm going to show you how to cut up. And here are the 3 cards, let me move this out of the way, that you make with the kit. So here's 1. Here's 2. So this is a kind of a wood grain background. And then the 3rd one. So here are the 3 that you make with the contents of the Paper Pumpkin Kit. Now you get enough to make 3 of each card, so a total of 9 cards. Let's get on to our first card. So the first one that we're going to make is actually the last one that we did on our live, or the second to last that we did on our live. It is so adorable though. We had so much fun designing this together, and if it wasn't for the group, I probably wouldn't have come up with this one completely on my own. I had a lot of input from the group on how to design this, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how I made it. Now I did use the Batter Up stamp set, but I also brought in the All for Baby. Now, if you don't have this stamp set, you can order this through my online store. If you don't have a demonstrator, I'd love to earn your business. And the link for the products that we'll be using, in addition to the Paper Pumpkin, will be listed in the description below. If you haven't yet, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel and then click the little notify bell down below. And that will notify you anytime I post a live video. Now, this does come with a set of dies, but we're just going to fussy cut everything today. All right, so the first thing I did is I took my card base and I actually cut a piece of real red cardstock, and this is measured 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. And I decided to pull in Pacific Point for this stamp, as well as Soft Suede. So these are the 2 colors that we'll be stamping with. I took my card, and let me just move this all out of the way so I can show you how I created this. The first thing I did, so the card comes like this. So this is the whole card front. I went ahead and I cut it off right at the score line, so now I have this extra piece, and I will be using that for a layer. I then trimmed this to be 3 3/4 wide, and I need this to be 5 inches long, so I do need to trim that down. But I wanted to trim off this like 1/2 inch piece. I am going to use that on our next alternative card. So I'll bring in my trimmer here, and I'm just going to trim this down off this side here, and I'm just going to trim this to be 5 inches. And I'll have a little extra piece that I might use for another piece. I don't know yet. And then I took the back half of the card, so I cut the card in half, and I'm going to measure this one at 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. I just want a little layer behind this Starburst card right here. All right, so I have a thin little layer. So go ahead and put that aside. I then took a piece of Real Red and punched a circle. After I cut the circle using this Layering Circles dies, I then used my Stitch So Sweetly set of dies, and I used this second to smallest die to cut out this for my sentiment. And then I have a piece of scrap white that I'm going to use to stamp my images on. And the last piece that I have is a 4 by 5 1/4 inch white for the inside of my card. All right, so let's get to stamping. Now I do need to use a paper piercing mat because I'm working with photopolymer, so I do want to have that so I can stamp with it and have good even pressure underneath my images. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to actually pull out the All for Baby, and I'm going to grab out the little teddy bear. And let's go ahead and grab a block. Here we go. And I'm going to take our soft suede and go ahead and ink this up really well. There we go. It is a distinctive set, meaning it's going to have some light and dark areas. So we're just going to stamp the bear right down here. We're going to end up fussy cutting this instead of pulling out the dies, but there are coordinating dies with this, and they're really cute. It's just an adorable stamp set. And then we're going to stamp a bat from our Batter Up stamp set. And I'm going to actually just lay that on my paper so it lays straight, and then I'll pick it up with my block. I'm going to stamp this twice because I do want to use a lighter image, but I know I can use that one on another card. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp it once here. And then I'm going to just turn around so it fits on the cardstock and stamp it here. Just be careful you don't rock this one. It's pretty narrow, so it's really easy to end up rocking. If you rock it, you're going to get some shadows, which you may or may not be able to fussy cut around, but just be careful not to rock it. We're going to stamp our baseball hat here, and we'll be using our Pacific Point for that. Now, for some reason, for me, Pacific Point tends to take a little longer to dry. So I'm going to set it aside while I'm doing some other things so that that dries. So when I cut it, I'm not getting ink all over my image or my hands. And the last thing I want to stamp is going to be my sentiment right in this rectangle here. And I'm going to stamp All Star. And since it's a boy baby card, we're going to do All Star Sun. So there's my All Star. Ink that up. And then I want to make sure it's a little bit more towards the top here. There we go. And now I'm going to come back in and I'm going to stamp the word sun. You could do other ones too, but you could do brother or whatever. I'm going to use sun. So let's go ahead and we'll ink up sun. And I'm going to just put it in this bottom corner right here. And put this back in our little stamp case there. we're done stamping for now, so we'll close that. We'll come back later and stamp the inside of our card. Put this right here. And let's go ahead and start assembling our card. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this card front that we cut down and adhere it. I'm just going to go ahead and use liquid glue to do that with. I'm just putting a thin, whoops, it gommed out a little bit, thin layer. When it gums out like that, just kind of run it along your paper a little bit so it kind of smooths out that big gommed image, and just layer this around. Now, because I'm using the multi-purpose glue, I have a moment to slide this around so I can get it centered. Okay, that looks good. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and adhere my circle just off to the right, and I'm just going to use my liquid glue. Just like that. All right, and I'm ready to put this on my card base. So let's go ahead and grab the card base. Quick and easy alternatives to your paper pumpkin kit. So if you weren't a fan of the ones that were there or just wanted to make different kinds, this is one of the alternatives you can do. Again, it's so cute. All right. So next thing I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and just adhere my sentiment right on there. I am going to use dimensionals to do that with. And there was dimensionals that came in the kit as well. One thing I love about Paper Pumpkin now is that the instructions are all in colors and they have pictures of how to stamp and assemble your card. On the back of the instructions, it also tells you the different colors that it used in the kit. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to fussy cut these things out. It doesn't take too long to cut these out. Now on this little bear here, I am going to cut apart where the leg and the arm are, so I'm going to cut in between there. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to slide that baseball bat in the arm of the teddy bear. So let's just get all this cut out and then I'll go back and trim that out. All right. And you want to leave a little white edge around your bear image here. All right, so this is where I'm going to come in and carefully cut along here. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to trim a little bit more out so I have just an opening right there. So just like that. So just a little piece. Oops, I've got right by his foot here. Let's get that trimmed off. Okay, so there's our bear. And I'm going to go ahead and cut out the lighter bat. And I am cutting a little bit of white around the edge too. I'm not going right to the stamped image. And let's just get this cut out so I can cut it better. So when you're trimming, oops, I bent that. When you're trimming, if you need to cut out the paper a little bit so you can actually cut your image better, just trim away some of that excess. Makes it a little easier for you to cut these really small or skinny image. All right, so there we go with that. And what we're going to do is we're going to just slide that just like that. And I want to have it layered up. Now he's going to be up on dimensionals too. I'm just getting all my pieces kind of cut and layered before I do that. One of the things I forgot to mention is that I took a 1/2-inch circle punch and went ahead and punched that out. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to bring in a scrap piece of paper here. And I'm just going to use the fine end of my Real Red marker, Stampin' Write marker, and I'm just going to draw these seams in and give a little stitching. So if you've ever seen a baseball, you will see that stitching on there. There we go. And that's going to be placed over here. Okay, so now we just have our hat. Now this hat is much larger than the teddy bear. So think of it like a little kid who puts on dad's hat. It's always usually way over their face. So with this, you can either put it on top of the teddy bear head or you can put it next to it. So I'll show you what it looks like with both, and then you can decide where you like yours. I just want to cut a little bit more of this white out here. There we go. Okay, so we can either have it going over, like part of it there, or we can just have it sitting down over here. So I thought it was really cute like this. But we'll do this one this way, and that way you have two different things to look at. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get all this adhered. So I'm going to go ahead again and use dimensionals. So we'll put some dimensionals behind the bear. And I think I want to put one right here on the leg. All right, and we'll go ahead and put him on there. Now I want to make sure I know where my hat is going to go, so that I can center him on there. And then I take my bat here. I'm going to take, well, I actually already did. I took one of my dimensionals and cut it in half. That way it'll fit right at the top of the bat there. And then down over here, I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid glue, just kind of a couple of little dots, because it's going to lay across the top of the teddy bear. And it will adhere there. So just slide this in. Oop, and I want that in front. And we'll put it just like that. Okay. And now we're going to take our little baseball and we're just going to use some liquid glue on that. You could use glue dots. I just happen to have the liquid glue out, and we'll put the ball right there. And now for the hat, we'll go ahead and just stick it right behind and underneath the bear. Just like that. Okay, so now for the inside, we're going to take our piece of white, and I'm going to go ahead and pull in my Pacific Point again, and we are going to stamp from the All for Baby. We're going to stamp little hands, little feet, big love. I just thought that was a really cute sentiment for this. All right, we'll ink that up, and we'll just stamp it towards the top. Now there's stars and everything in this stamp set, so if you want to add some stars to it, you could. I just wanted the sentiment. And now to finish our card, we'll adhere this to the inside, and then we'll add a couple of those resin dots to it, and it will be finished. So super fast card. Nice and quick. I love when Paper Pumpkin gives us all the fun stuff to work with. So in your kit again, you get the ink. Granted, their ink was Night of Navy. You could use Night of Navy on this just fine. I wanted a little bit lighter. All right, here we go. So there's the inside. And now let's go ahead and bring in our resin dots. And let's put some of those on the front of our card. And I've got my Take a Pick tool with my putty end here, and we'll put one there. And I'll put another one over here. And since I've got the hat there, I think I'll just put it right there. Okay. So there we go. And that is our alternative card that we made with our Paper Pumpkin. So thanks for watching the video. And again, please subscribe to my channel and click notified so that you know when I post another video. Have a great day.